Five, four, three, two, one. This is the Jedi 08, and oh my shit, that was a huge ass roach. That was a huge ass roach that just landed on my screen. Where the fuck did that thing go? Oh my god. Okay. Heart attack over. Heart attack over. Um, I don't have a way to edit this or anything. Um, so my WrestleMania night one reactions. I'm not doing the skit like I did last year. Didn't get very many views. It was both of them were just plain horrible. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, so my reaction to what we witnessed at WrestleMania 42 night one. Um, so I'm gonna let you know right now that I did not go watch the main event. Um, had a personal issue going on during that time, so I was not able to actually watch the full main event. Um, all I'm going to say is that I'm safe and that um, there's nothing to worry about. Safety and well being is more important than a wrestling show. Um, that is the number one thing. So yeah, safety and well being for anyone is the number one priority. I don't want to ever deal with what I had to deal with tonight ever again. I'm going to lay that out there right now. Um, I really do hope that nasty thing is nowhere around me. Um, so yeah, yeah. I I just don't need to deal with that shit anymore. It's over and done with. Cops came, handled everything. Um, don't really need to go into much detail other than that. So, anyway, anyway, um, we got some things to discuss about when it comes to WrestleMania Night One. Um, it opened up with the Usos and LA Knight defeating the Vision in the Ice Show Speed, and what happened was um, Logan Paul turned on Ice Show Speed at the very end. Ice Show Speed did a tremendous um, body drop off the top rope, or body splash rather, off the top rope. Um, that was very impressive to see him do it. So that was really good. Applause to him for that. I wouldn't do. I'm too. I would be scared to miss a table for that. But hey, he aimed it perfectly well. So yeah. Then we get Jacob Fatu against Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. Um, that was at that point um, match of the night material. It was going to be very hard to follow up with that. Um, but um, it was a solid A minus. I'm just gonna go and say it was a solid A minus. Um, really impressive. Got some good spots in. Um, really good. And unsanctioned match for the most part. For that, so yeah. Fatu or sorry, Brie Bell, irresistible force says Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the best friends. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria, which they really need to have a tag team name. I'm just going to go and say that right now. They need a tag team name. Y'all let me know in the comments whether it should be either do a tag team or have them turn on each other and have a match. That's all they need to do at this point. Um, if they're going to be permanent on a tag team, create a tag team name, please. Versus, how do I say this? Originally, it was supposed to be the Bella twins, but it was Brie Bella and the returning Paige. And of course, we all know who's going to win that one. It's going to be Paige with Brie Bella. Um, they really need to make up their minds on how they're going to do a fatal four way tag team match. Um, Either you're going to have 4 wrestlers in the ring at the same time or 2 wrestlers in the ring at the same time. You can't do either or here. Gotta stick with one rule or the other. You cannot be changing it up every single time. Because I am tired of watching a freaking multi tag team match and they would just have different roles for each different thing and call it the same way and call it the same match. No, no, no. Either you're gonna have it as a fatal four way like rule set, or you're going to have it as um 4 guys on the ring post and 1 person out there on both sides, or you're going to do something else and basically be AV8. You know, y'all got to do something there. Y'all got to do something. That was. I don't want to see that ever again. Y'all need to make up y'all's mind on how y'all are going to do this. Really bad. Because that was a mess. It was a good match, but it was a mess on the rules. 8 minutes, 35 seconds of pure mess and chaos. Then we get Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Becky Lynch came down with a band for her entrance music. It was really good. When she rose up her hand, I would have expected more explosive pyro. Now, granted, when Becky Lynch comes out, it's just smoke. It is steampunk smoke that shoots up in the air. That's no big deal. But if she's going to do that for a WrestleMania entrance, please, 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 please don't do this. You know, do something else. Do something else that will match the atmosphere of the entrance, But if you're going to do exactly what you did for your WrestleMania entrance, change the pyro. Change the pyro to explosive to make it more impactful. Because the pyro made everything weak for that. So no. Becky Lynch won that match. AJ Lee came out with a bunch of little girls that were probably too young to even know who AJ Lee is. So that is very impressive to say at this point in time. Um, so I think the oldest one looked like around 10 or so, 8 or 10. So yeah, they would not have been able around to see AJ Lee in her prime wrestling for WWE before she retired. Um, I'm just going to throw that out there. But yeah, AJ Lee was defeated. Becky Lynch won, and um, with no help from Jessica Carr. I get why they do chose Carr for the referee there. As to the story, as to everything else, but at the same time, I just want. I know Jessica Carr used to be a full time wrestler at one point, and she's now a referee. At this point, I would say, is there any time, since you're that skilled of a wrestler, really look it up? She's won some championships and things. She's won some awards. Is there any way for her to put her wrestling boots back on and say, you know what? I am no longer going to be a referee. I'm going to be a wrestler, and I'm going to face Becky Lynch. Is there any possibility for them to book that? I'm just going to throw that out there for that. Um, Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Gunther started out strong by attacking Seth Rollins before the bell. It was really looking like a no DQ match at that point, because it started out in the ring. I didn't really hear a bell at that point, and there was so much stuff going on that I would be like, normally they would call it as a disqualification, no contest, whatever. They did not do either or. They did not do either or, and they just kept it going. And I literally had to say, is this a no DQ or did the match even start? And it turns out it didn't actually start at that point. They spent like 10, 15 minutes outside of the ring. And then when they finally got back in the ring, bell rings, they start brawling. And yeah, Gunther won. Gunther won by submission at that point. There were some good spots there as well. Seth Rollins did put him into a sleeper. He got out, fortunately, this time. So, yeah. Um, Thank you, Bomb Breaker, for the spears. Um, you just came out of nowhere, speared him, speared Seth Rollins, got him distracted enough to where Gunther was able to put him into the sleeper hold, did their thing, boom, done. Good job. That pretty much stole the show. And I literally said, if they're going to do a show stealer, this match needs to be equivalent to Randy Savage and Steamboat. They almost put that off. Almost. Not quite, there was still a little bit of less there. If Seth Rollins had kicked out and they did a few more spots, then maybe. Um, Stephanie Vakir versus Liv Morgan. That was 9 minutes exactly. Um, Liv Morgan came out to her new solo song. I didn't really catch Stephanie Vakir's entrance, but I heard it was pretty good. Um, and all I gotta say with the Liv Morgan entrance is good thing that Dirty Dom wasn't there for his character wise. Character. Um, we all know the truth about Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, and about backstage things. He's actually married and things. We all know that. You can look it up. Just simple Google search. You'll be able to look it up. It's all fine. It's all 100% fine. No need there. Um, there were a few good spots for it. It turned into a 3 versus 1 match, as expected, and um, it was a really lackluster D+ match. I mean, me and Tyler were just watching that match, talking, messaging each other on Facebook, and we were like, we're not too thrilled about what was going on. And as we were typing, we really felt like it was not that long of a match. I'm just being honest. We just saw the spots that were going on. We were reacting to them, and then next thing you know, it's over. And right when I was typing to say exactly what my thoughts and feelings were on whoever won, because they did a good build up. They did a good build up. I will say that it was a good build up for the match itself. I understand why they chose Liv to choose Stephanie Vakir. It made sense, but when it comes to her versus Stephanie Vakir in the match itself, you look at the entire roster and you look at what all is going on, and you look at who all Fakir's faced, and you look at the potential opponents for Liv. It was kind of obvious on who was going to win that match. The reason why I said this as I was typing this, the match ended. So right when I hit enter, the match ended. What I said was, if Stephanie Vakir wins, she's gonna have a lackluster title reign as it stands. Who does she have left to face? The women's roster is starting to dwindle down. Who does she have left to face at this point? That's not an tag team. Who can she face that would actually make sense? That would mesh with her? Not very many. Liv Morgan, on the other hand, yeah, she can face any of the women on the roster, on the Raw roster, or even on SmackDown. But the problem is that they're all in a tag team faction. So she can face Charlotte Flair, she can face Alexa Bliss, technically, so could Stephanie Vakir. She can face Paige, AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, all these names. But then I just said, well, Judgment Day is already run its course. The best thing that they can do if Liv wins is have her face either Raquel or Roxanne Perez. just to go and dissolve Judgment Day, do it that way, and just do that. And right when I hit enter, she won. She won back the championship. So there's that. Um, and then, of course, we get the announcement of the crowd, the attendance record, which wasn't really that impressive considering on what's going on. We get the reports every year saying that they had made up a number and things. You know, do we really care on how many people were actually in attendance when we know get the news of the ticket prices and everything and what else going on in Vegas? It was in Vegas again, so you know why should we even bother at this point? Just whatever, you know. There's that. What more do you need on it? And then, of course, comes Bianca Belair comes out, and we're just looking at it, and we're like, if she's coming out from her injury, which there was a report saying that she was injured anyway, why she's been gone, and we're just in here like, if she's going to come out like this, why not go and put her in a match against Jade Cargill? You know, if she's going to be clear for WrestleMania, at least put her in for a match against Jade at this point. Do it that way. Turns out she wasn't doing that. She came out for an announcement. And that announcement was that she was expecting a child. She's pregnant. So good for her. Good for Montez Ford. Proud for y'all. Um, Angela Dawkins. Good luck on being the Godfather. Um, that's all I gotta say with that. Um, I had to look up who won the Cody Orton match again during that time. As I said earlier, was involved into a personal matter. So I wasn't able to watch the event, the match, when I actually looked at what happened or came back from what was going on. Um, they were already in the post show. So I'm going to say is that it better not happen tomorrow. I better not have that issue tomorrow. Um, I don't need anything like that to happen to me again. So, yeah, yeah. Um, but from what I see, Cody won the match. Pat McAfee's no longer part of wrestling, which makes a little bit of sense given that he works for College Game Day and things. So, given the current time frame of everything and what all has happened with him previously, this is a good way to write him off of the WWE. His contract may have been expiring anyway. He's got too much shit going on anyway. So why not? Why not have him to come out of there? Um, Not saying that WWE don't need him. I'm not going to say that. He's a great ring announcer. He's a great commentator. I love him on the commentary table. You know, but I kind of do wish that was Ted DiBiase in that corner. That would have been making way more sense since he was already there in the crowd. You know, all that would make more sense. but instead they just had him and Jelly Roll, and that build up was not that good of a thing. I will try to find the match online, probably on YouTube or something. I'm going to look for the full match, and I'm going to watch it, and hopefully then I can have a good, unbiased opinion on the match itself. I already know what all to expect in the few spots there. I know to expect Jelly Roll show up. I know to expect to see something with Pat McAfee, um, and all those spots. So I'm going to right now, based off of what I've seen from other posts and things, I'm going to give it probably a B match. Just based off of the build up and highlights and things like that with it. I need to watch the full match to have it higher right now, but if it's going to be a B, it's going to be a B. Because what more should you expect with it? They would have had a better storyline if they had not included the celebrities. Way better storyline. Because they have history. Um, anyway, this has been the Jazz08, also known as Jeremy J. Guillory. You've been watching the Broken Turnbuckle WrestleMania 42 reaction for night 1. Stay tuned for night 2. Thank you and good night.